attitude.
Trucker sweaty, shark-covered, AIDS-infected, syphilitic nutsack. So I promised I was going to be more professional, but I can't resist when it comes to Tattooed Chef. Welcome back, everybody. We got to talk about some interesting developments at this company, because besides the stock price collapsing over, 90%, we also seem to have some pretty important executives fleeing the company. Why is that? Well, if you don't know the history of Tattooed Chef, this is a plant-based frozen food company that was supposed to change the world. It was the future, bro. Everybody was going to eat this food. They were going to sell their Buddha bowls for $5, even though it barely feeds a 3-year-old. And somehow this stock was going to 10x. This stock was pushed primarily by Jeremy Lefebvre. We all know who that is. And it didn't go so well for him, but that doesn't seem to matter. And now the stock has collapsed. Now the company's on the verge of bankruptcy or a massive share issuance. There's a lot of problems going on. And their earnings should be coming out soon. But we got to talk about some of these executives abandoning ship. Why are they leaving the company? Could they possibly be trying to get out right before this next earnings report, flee the company, and pursue their employment elsewhere at a company that may actually be sustainable and last and not go bankrupt? I don't know. So I was browsing some Securities and Exchange Commission statements, all right? And we have here a SEC Form 4. Now, I'm not an expert at SEC filings, okay? But it seems like every time there's some kind of material change in beneficial ownership of a security, it has to be reported to the Securities and Exchange Commission, and it's made publicly available. So here we have this form. And it says on the top left, check this box if no longer subject to Section 16, blah, blah, blah. Name and address of reporting person. Williams, Thomas, Matthew. Issuing name, Tattooed Chef, Tattooed Trucker, Sweaty, Putrescent Nutsack. Date of the earliest transaction, 3/3/23. Former Chief Growth Officer. Now, I think it's hilarious when I hear about this, okay? When I see the word Chief Growth Officer, if you work at Tattooed Chef and your job was Chief Growth Officer, you failed. You failed miserably. You are a joke, and you should probably find a different industry. Because obviously, Tattooed Chef, which was supposed to be a growth company, actually had a massive collapse in revenue. And who predicted that? Strongman Personal Finance did. Who's that? I don't know. So, what happened here? Well, this guy, this Chief Growth Officer, is leaving the company. Remarks. The exit Form 4 is voluntarily filed to report that the reporting person is no longer serving in the role as the company's Chief Growth Officer, effective March 3rd, 2023, and is no longer subject to reporting. Well, let's check this guy out. So here he is. What a dapper young man, okay? Well, I wouldn't say he's young. C-suite executive, president, Chief Customer Officer with experience in plant-based, frozen, beverage, dairy, and specialty foods. We can see he's got a ton of experience. He's a very seasoned executive. And now he's working for Bowery Farming. Now, you may laugh and say, oh, farming, that's boring. But that company might actually be profitable. It might actually have a sustainable future. Where did he work out before? Oh, let's zoom in a little bit. Tattooed Chef, full-time, 2 years and 9 months as the Chief Growth Officer. What a complete and utter disaster. So now their growth officer of a growth company is leaving to find better pastures. Makes 100% sense, right? What could possibly be about to happen to Tattooed Chef? I have no idea. Now, they actually posted more information. On February 27, 2023, Thomas Matthew Williams, that's the guy we just looked at, the former Chief Growth Officer, gave notice of his resignation from the company effective March 3rd, 2023. I don't blame you, buddy. Mr. Williams' departure is not the result of any disagreement with the company on any matter relating to the company's operations, policies, or procedures. Ron Brochard, the company's senior president of sales, will be assuming his day-to-day responsibilities. Okay. Now, obviously, we don't know what actually went down here. It could be a voluntary resignation. It could have been one of those things where they said, you're gonna resign. And while this statement says that it's not because of any disagreement, you never really know what goes on behind the scenes, okay? That's just how the business world works. And that's perfectly fine. So this guy's out. Let's look at who's in. Mr. Brochard. So here he is. He looks very Italian. He's an experienced sales leader with demonstrated broad success within the food and beverage industry. Skilled in blah, 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 blah. Okay, so he started... Wow. Now, this is hilarious right here. He has only been working at Tattooed Chef for 11 months. Can you imagine joining this company at, like, the absolute worst time? Where was Tattooed Chef 11 months ago? Let's see. Tattooed Chef was at, like, what, $11.65 when this guy joined the company? And now it's $1.19. Oh, horrible freaking timing there, buddy. So, obviously, at the end of the day, my conclusion is this a normal turnover of executives at Tattooed Chef? Or is there something deeper going on? To me, this is my speculation. I don't know if this is a fact or not. My speculation is that, yeah, some of the executives are getting out of this turd of a company because it is absolutely collapsed. It is on the verge of bankruptcy. The officer, the CEO, what's his name, Sam Galletti, has been loaning this company money. They've missed multiple earnings deadlines. They've had to restate their financial statements. Their gross margin has collapsed into negative territory. Their revenue growth has collapsed into negative territory. This is a complete and utter disaster. So I can totally see why this guy would be leaving the company. I don't blame you, buddy. You probably made a right decision. I wonder what Bowery farming is. Bowery is boring. It's not futuristic like Tattooed Chef. Sometimes when you have a job, though, it's better to have a boring job that is sustainable than work at a clownish emerging growth company that's going to change the world. That's just going to make you lose your job and lose all your stock options. Let's see what happens in the earnings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited when they come out. I'll be doing a pretty in-depth analysis. And, okay, March 28th pre-market. I guess we have a couple weeks to wait. Talk to you later. Cheers.